Why is professional bass fishing dying? And how do we fix it? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. Pro bass fishing is on its deathbed in a lot of situations. Costs, scandals, disconnected fans are draining the sport and the hobby. But it can be fixed. It is fixable. Let's break it down before it's too late. Now, what are some of the reasons professional bass fishing is dying? Costs are out of control. Entry fees, fuel, travel make it near impossible for young anglers who don't have a financial backing to do well or to be successful. And when you put the stress of not knowing where your next dollar is going to come from, or if you can make it home, or even buy yourself dinner or lunch, it puts another level of stress on you. It's funny because in my years of basketball and baseball, and now with my little boy swimming, one of the things that's constantly told to us is that if you go out there and have fun while he's swimming, you'll probably swim faster. And I think that has a big influence on all major sports and hobbies. If you're out there enjoying it, you fish differently. And these days, with the amount of costs and everything else that goes on, there's a lot of younger anglers that are putting a level of stress on themselves at such an early age that it probably will have damage to them in the long run. Next, sponsorships have been harder to get than ever, and the payouts don't cover most of the expenses of an angler. You have to remember that sponsorships are what the anglers need. They need those to not only pay their entry fees, but that's really where they're making their money. They're not making their money as an angler. Hard to understand. If you get a check, it's an added bonus for that angler. And sponsorships right now are more important and harder to get than they've ever been, because there's so many different avenues for a business to market themselves. Or do they need a professional angler marketing their product? Now, why is professional bass fishing dying? There's a lack of connection with fans and their audience. There's way too many live streams. It's confusing and scattered at times. Fans don't relate to anglers, especially ones that are looking down at the front of their bow at all times and not communicating or articulating on what's going on. And to keep it real, some tournaments lack energy, and a lot of them lack storytelling, excluding the BPT. There's oversaturation and splintering within this community. There's too many fishing leagues. You have the BPT, you have the Elites, you have the NPFL. And they are splitting the audience. There's different rules in each organization and in each business, which confuses casual fans. And often, small fishing tournaments are overshadowed by the big ones. And that has a big influence on all tournaments. To be quite honest, there's too many tournaments too. One of the things that's really making the sport die also is that we have poor youth development plans. We don't have enough structured opportunities for our youth anglers to transition affordably. And our youth prefers quick, entertaining content versus extremely dull and long weigh-ins. They won't watch it. We have to agree to disagree on the weigh-ins, because in my opinion, catch, weigh, release is how everything should be. These 2.5, 3 hour weigh-ins just don't get watched by young anglers. They are so used to the TikTok age where everything's 15 seconds, or the short age where everything's under a minute, that when you have 3 hours to sit there and watch, they're not willing to spend that time and learn about those anglers or their weights. They'll just wait till it's over and click a button on a website and find out who's in the top 10 or who's leading. Now, how do we fix it? Start off with, we need to reduce fees. We need to reduce entry fees. We need to create some sort of salary or some kind of bonus that allows anglers to go out there and fish without having the pressure on their shoulders of where they finish and if they cash or if they don't cash. We need to drastically start improving storytelling. There is No offense to the elites, there just isn't enough in there to keep you wanting more. That's the whole thing that's happening on the BPT. There's a storyline within a storyline within a storyline, encompassing the whole tournament, which then is another story. And that keeps you engaged in the tournament and wanting to watch and learn more. And we need that to start happening everywhere. We need to know about the struggles and the stories versus just weights. We need to have live commentary with energy that makes you want to continue to watch it. There's too many times when an angler is talking and the commentator doesn't talk. I love that. I'd rather hear the angler talk about what's going on than the commentator. No offense. But there's also too many times when all there is an angler sitting on the front of a boat staring down and the commentators are doing nothing. Zilch. Zero. That's when the commentators need to use their voice, engage in what's going on, and talk and communicate and articulate on what's happening. And we need to have the energy. I believe we need to have a unified ranking system that across the leagues everyone uses, and that we're able to create one single champion, the best of the best. I think you can have Angler of the Year, you can have your Classic champion, your Red Crest champion, but we need to have one place where we know this is the best angler, and it's it. Period. End of story. But we don't right now. We also need to fix professional bass fishing from dying. We also need to showcase affordable ways to compete. We need to know that the angler doesn't have to spend $100,000 on his boat, and he doesn't have to spend $30,000 on electronics, and that he doesn't need another $70,000 truck to pull it either. We need to know that there's ways that anglers can go out there and compete at the highest level without breaking the bank or putting themselves in financial trouble. And last, we need transparency and integrity in this sport. We need to know that the anglers aren't cheating. We need to know that the polygraphs work. We need to have transparency on what's going on, the good and the bad. And we also need to have transparent rule enforcement, no matter who the angler is, without favoritism. That is also crucial because fans these days question some anglers' integrity from the past. And it's never brought up or talked about, and all we hear is more and more rumors. And as if you start doing well, the rumors start getting bigger. The leagues need to be drastically more transparent. They also need to, at times, just not say what they feel, because it's not a dictatorship that these anglers are in. And while it does feel like it in some businesses and organizations, it isn't. The anglers are why we watch. The anglers are why we care. And if the fan doesn't trust the integrity of the organization, and we need to be better in all aspects of how we portray a fan and portray a professional angler. Because these days, while college and high school fishing is booming and getting a lot of good growth, there's a lot of people that also realize this dream of becoming a professional angler is probably never going to happen. And it's just a dream. But do you think professional bass fishing is dying, and is it fixable? Comment below and tell me what you think. I really do appreciate it. Maybe a little off topic or weird one, but I have, no joke, I have 20 papers right there in front of me, some on forward-facing sonar and a lot of other things, of notes of some really what I think is good content for the channel, and hopefully you guys do too. Hopefully you're a subscriber or a member or just part of the team and family. I really do appreciate all of y'all, so thank you. But if you're not a subscriber, click that button and welcome to the team. Remember, take your kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.